Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with another episode of Explore the Card. This is episode number 51 featuring the 1993 Dynamic Dunks seen only on the Luca Nation Network. Here's a picture of the thumbnail with my Dynamic Dunks PSA 10 on it. And as always, let's get cranking here. We like to start by looking at the set that this card comes from. It comes from the 1993 Skybox Premium set, which is a 341 card set that's in team alphabetical order. This set, like many sets from the 90s, was released in two series. Series 1 is cards 1 through 191, and then Series 2 is cards 192 through 341. As mentioned, the cards appear in team alphabetical order. Let's go find it. Where are we? Here we go. Actually, they don't. Oh, they do, but yeah. Okay, so there's this subset at the beginning, and then starting with card number 24, that's when they appear in team alphabetical order, as you can see on your screen. As always, I'm using Trading Card Database, which is kind of like my go-to place when I want to find out more information about sets and inserts and parallels and all the different stuff that occurred in the 80s and 90s, and it's good all the way up through the ultra modern cards as well. Rookie cards in this set, let's pull them up. The rookie cards in this set, the ones of most note are Tony Kukoc, Jamal Mashburn, Allen Houston, Chris Webber, and Penny. There's a couple other really good players in this class. Now that I go back and look at it, I mean, Rodney Rogers came out of Wake Forest, was supposed to be like the next Charles Barkley. He wasn't. Dino Radja was actually a really good foreign player who came over as a little bit older rookie. Sean Bradley is famous for having the air sucked out of his building by Tracy McGrady. But in this set, Jordan has two cards. He has card number 14 and card number 45. I'm not going to go into too much detail on these cards because they're both real high pop cards. Card number 14, 644 pop, and it's worth about 50 to 60 bucks. Card number 45 from the base set is a pop 879, and it's worth about 80 to 120 bucks. So you're not talking about huge monster cards. They're very high pop. They're not super expensive, even in PSA 10. So if you're looking to collect Jordan base cards from back in the day, those two base cards are not going to set you back very much at all. There are 8 insert sets in the 1993 Skybox Premium product, and they're here on your screen. The two that I'm going to mention are the only two that feature Michael Jordan. They are the Center Stage, and they are the Dynamic Dunks, which we're about to talk about today. The Center Stage is a vertical card. The Dynamic Dunks is a horizontal card. There's 9 Dynamic Dunks cards within the set, and there they are. Nick Anderson, Charles Barkley, Robert Horry, Michael Jordan, Shawn Kemp, Anthony Mason, who might have dunked 5 times in his life, Alonzo Mourning, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Dominique Wilkins. It does seem odd that, this is 1993. Shaquille O'Neal had been in the league, so it's not like Kobe Bryant, who wasn't in the league yet. The name of the set is Dynamic Dunks, and the fact that they chose Anthony Mason and not Shaquille O'Neal seems really, really odd to me. Because nobody dunked more dynamically at the time than Shaq. Maybe Jordan, but probably Shaq, who dunked everything in his path. Young Shaq with the Orlando Magic was obviously a one-man wrecking crew. Nick Anderson also wasn't really a dunk guy. He was more of I guess he did. He was pretty athletic in his younger days out of Illinois, but a good all-around player as well. But anyway, that's their 9 right there. It almost makes me think there's normally we see 10, 12, 15, 20, right? It makes me think that there was supposed to be 10 and then somebody got forgotten for some reason, because I don't think I've seen very many insert sets where there's 9 cards, but there are 9. 5 of the 9 are Hall of Famers. That's a 55% Hall of Fame rate. Again, Robert Horry, Anthony Mason. I guess Horry was pretty athletic in his younger years, but most people remember him as the guy that would catch and shoot threes and then guard the other team's, best wing for those Houston Rocket title teams. But there's 9 in the set. 5 out of the 9 are Hall of Famers. MJ's the only one of the big 3. When we look at these insert sets, we try to figure out are the big 3 in there. And the big 3 are Kobe, Shaq, and Jordan. And in this set, it's obviously Kobe's not there yet. Jordan's in there, and like I said, Shaq seems like a massive oversight given the name of the insert set was Dynamic Dunks. These Dynamic Dunk cards were inserted 1 in 324 Series 2 only packs. Series 2 only, fellas. MJ was 1 in 2,916 Series 2 packs. I've got the card pulled up. Let's talk a little bit about the aesthetics of the card before we move on to the pops and the prices. These are my 2 copies. I've got, as you guys know, I collect PSA 10s and I collect PSA 8s. I don't collect 9s and I don't collect 7s. So I either collect the card in gem mint condition, 10 or BGS 9.5, and that's my high-end Jordan. And then I also have a PSA 8 Jordan collection as well. And so I've got the PSA 10 on your screen right there, and I've also got a PSA 8 right here. But just looking specifically at the card, it's a really clean, simple design. It's got the black background. It's got the D for dynamic and dunks. It's a shared D. Actually, it's not. So dynamic is actually written out. This D in giant script behind Jordan kind of gets lost in the shuffle is for the second word of the insert set, dunks. You'll see Michael Jordan across the bottom with the little dotted border right there. You can just catch a glimpse of the net in the top left corner. As you can see from looking at the card and looking at the back as well, it's black everywhere. It's black edges, it's black corners, 4 black corners on the back, 4 black edges on the back, 4 black corners on the front, 4 black edges on the front. So getting this dang thing in a gem mint condition, as we're about to see when we look at the handy dandy trusty table that I provide for you guys on every one of these episodes, is really tough to do. You can see the 1993-94 Skybox 93-94 edition Skybox Premium. I really liked this product. I think this is the first year of Skybox Premium. On the back, what does it say? Michael Jordan. It's card D4 in the set, by the way. Great in every aspect of the game, but nothing captured the world's attention like a dunk from Air Jordan. And that's it. That's pretty much it for the card. Really clean, really basic look. From what I recall, I think this might have been Jordan's one of Jordan's first horizontal inserts. I know Total D was a horizontal insert as well, but I'm thinking to myself that might have been 1993 as well. 92 was Beam Team, and then there was Team Leaders. I think Fleer Total D was. Well, Total D wasn't horizontal. Total D, that there is a horizontal Total D, but the earliest Total D was a vertical. So I think this might be Jordan's first horizontal insert. I like it because those early inserts really spark the onset of what the 90s came to be about, which was inserts and then super rare short print parallels. So that's the card. That's the card we're talking about. That's where you find it. That's the pack odds, and that's the set that it comes from, the 1993-94 Skybox Premium. So let's take a look at the table and give the people what they want. What stands out to me on this table, again, if you've got screenshot, just go ahead and hit print screen so you can save this. If not, hold your phone sideways and take a picture of it so you can keep all this information if you are out there looking to buy one of these 93 Skybox Premium Dynamic Dunks. First thing that stands out to me is the pop in PSA 10 and BGS 9.5. That's the first thing that I always look at because I like to collect Jordan cards from the 90s in the highest grade possible. And this one is pretty tough to find. Less than 50 of them in the world in gem mint condition between PSA and BGS. If you look at the third column for the percentage total, that's the gem rate. I should probably change that from percentage total to the gem rate column. But that's basically your percentage likelihood of grading a PSA 10. Now that is the total percentage of gems. If you submitted cards today here, what are we, almost 30 years later, I have a feeling you're gonna have a gem rate return from PSA even less than 5%. In fact, I know you are because we're about to look at that in a second too, but a 5% gem rate for PSA, a 6% gem rate for BGS. This is just a really tough card to grade, and it's for obvious reasons. We looked at it. It's black everywhere, and it's just hard to keep cards with black corners and edges, or really any dark corners and edges from fraying and showing that white. But you can see there's a total of 909 graded between PSA and BGS, and only a combined 5% for PSA and 6% for BGS I've graded there. You can see in this next column we've got the sold price for the last card, the PSA 10, still $14.10. That seems low to me. Again, I know this is not shiny, it's not gold, it's not a refractor, it's not die cut, it's not super colorful. And so maybe that's why this card's not as appreciated as some of the others. Fleer Team Leader is another one that sort of comes to mind. But man, the card's a pop 35, and the pack odds are 1 in 2,916. That's not real easy. And for those of you doing the math at home, 5 of these gems have sold in the last 6 months. You can see the average sale price for each grade over here to the right. If you're looking to just put the card in your collection, you can do it incredibly affordably by picking up a PSA 9 or a BGS 9 copy. Even the BGS 9.5 last sold for under 4 figures. So it's a card that you could put in your collection even in a gem mint condition for less than 4 figures. The percentage change over the last 6 months, this is a little odd. The PSA 10 is down 31% from the highest ever sale of 2,573, and the BGS 9.5 is a 9% increase, believe it or not, over the last 6 months. There's only been 3 sales and only been 2 sales here, so kind of keep that in mind. Whenever you're looking at percentage increase and decrease, you got to look at the first data point and the last data point, when it occurred, what the card looked like. For BGS, you got to look at subgrades. Even for PSA 10s, they're not all the same, so there might be more to the story. So you guys do your own research on that. All I can do is compile this table, but you guys got to take it from there and really dive in to look at the cards to see what they look like. So sorry, I just pulled off the, there you go. How many gems have been added? 1 since April of 2021 has been added, 1 PSA 10. So a jump from 34 to 35 over the last 18, 19, 20 months. No BGS 9.5s have been added, but look how many people have tried to grade their Dynamic Dunks insert with PSA. 61 have gotten PSA 9s. I don't have PSA 8s in front of me, but my guess is there's gonna be a lot of them that tried to grade. In fact, we can go look at it. Let's see. Let's pull it up right now because I think they had Dynamic Dunks PSA 8 in the card ladder. They do. Okay, so they've got it pulled up. So if we go here and we make it a little bit bigger here, we're going to go here. There you go. So 140 all the way to 283. So 143 have gotten an 8. Listen to this. Holy cow. I should have looked at this before. 143 have been graded PSA 8. 61 have been graded. That's over 300. That's 305 cards have been graded since April of 2021, at least, right? That's not counting the PSA 7s, the PSA 6s, and 1 has gotten a PSA 10. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's way less than a 5% gem rate. That just gives you some idea of how difficult it is to grade these cards with PSA now as compared to, throughout history or when they were a little bit more pack fresh. So that's that. There's no BGS 10s. There's no BGS black labels. As we said, I always like to focus on how many combined gems there are between the two, PSA and BGS, because I like to collect the cards in gem mint condition. And when you combine those two companies, the gem mints don't add up to even 50. So 100 is kind of that threshold where it kind of makes it a little bit more rare. 48 combined gems. What is on eBay? That is always a question that we like to look at. And so when I look for 1993 Skybox Premium Series 2 boxes, I get 21 results. And I tell you what, this is one of those deals where when you're looking at cards from the 90s, the boxes are not that expensive. And I actually, way back, right when I first started my channel, the very first box that I broke on my Cajun Cardboard YouTube channel was a 1993 Skybox Premium box. And I was lucky enough to hit a center stage. Now, here's the deal. When I started opening the box, I knew I was in for trouble. All of the cards were stuck. When I opened the pack, I could literally hold it by the top card and all the other cards were stuck. So I would peel a card one off the next and it was taking off the surface of the cards next to it. That's one of the risks you take when you buy boxes from the 90s. These are 30-year-old boxes. They may have been in 150-degree warehouses. They could have been in the jungle. They could have been, in another country. They could have been in very cold weather, then very hot weather, then very cold weather, then very hot weather. You just don't know. The humidity will affect them. Even though they're in a contained, cellophane box, it could affect it. And it affected the box that I opened. So bricking is what I like to call it, where the cards are stuck together. So I pulled the center stage. I was thrilled, but I knew before I even looked at the card, this was going to be a bad, I would almost rather not have pulled it than pulled the one that I have. I've actually got it sitting over here next to my computer screen. A whole front of the center stage insert kind of got torn off. All of the surface got torn off because of the gloss of the card underneath it, pulled it on top of it, pulled it off. So that's your concern. But look at the prices. If you really want to gamble and you don't think that the cards are going to be bricked together, 150, 150, 95. 110, 199, a pack, 120, 99, 99, 150, 19, you know, you get the picture. Not an expensive box. And I think part of this is really there's Jordan's only in 2 of these insert sets. We've seen what his base PSA 10's worth, 50 to 60 bucks, 80 to 120. And the odds of you getting back a PSA 10 for one of those that you pull out of these boxes is probably similar to the, you know, percentage gem rate that you're going to have on the insert, the Dynamic Dunks insert as well. So it's not going to be a great return on investment. But if you just want to have fun opening boxes from the 90s, I think this first year Skybox Premium would be really fun to open. But that's probably part of the reason why the boxes are so cheap. There's actually a lot of packs in here. I'm not sure if any of these boxes, 36 packs in here. But again, there's just not that many valuable cards. So unless you hit a center stage that's in great condition or Dynamic Dunks that's in absolutely impeccable condition, which again is unlikely, you really don't have a lot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So that's probably why those are a little bit cheaper than one would expect. But what if we want to just buy the cards? 64 results, guys. So you're going to have to look real close if you're buying a raw version of one of these cards. They just don't look 10. They just don't. So make sure you get good quality pictures and check it out. PSA 8s, PSA 7s, you know, raw. Here's a tag graded GMA graded. Oh, sorry, I thought that was tag. It's GMA graded 8, whatever the hell that is. PSA 7, so you guys get the picture. Look, there's a CSG 8 up there, right there. Okay, so you guys can do your own research, but more than plenty to choose from. You know, the issue is finding one in gem mint condition if that's your joint, right? So what do I own and in what grade? We talked about it. I own this PSA 8 that you've got on your screen. I own the PSA 10, which is on your screen as well. Again, those scuff marks are on the slab itself, old slab, so it's not on the card. Those are that's just on the scuff marks on the case itself, and this card's a lot cleaner at the top. You know, PWCC images are so damn vibrant and detailed that it's almost impossible to make a black edge look like a black edge. So that's really a good edge up there, but it does look like it's kind of chewed up, but it's really not. So that's my PSA 10 and PSA 8. Am I a buy, a sell, or a hold? I'm a hold. I've got my 10 for my 10 collection. I've got my 8 for my 8 collection, so I'm good. I would, however, I will tell you this, if I could come across, looking at this chart, if I could come across another PSA 10 in the $1,200 range, if this card dips like some of these other cards have dipped during this recent kind of market correction period over the last 12 to 18 months, I'd look at picking up another copy of this card because I don't think $1,410 is the right price. Rarely do I tell you guys go out and buy a card, and I'm not telling you to go out and buy this card for $1,410. I never would. But I could tell you this, if one comes up at auction, you're going to at least get a bid from me of about $1,200 to $1,250 for sure. You know, I would rather spend that money, that $1,200, $1,500, whatever bucks on a parallel or insert that I don't have because I'm trying to grow my collection. But if another copy came up, because it's only a Pop 35 and because it's one of Jordan's earliest inserts from a first-year Skybox Premium product, again, I keep saying that. Comment below if I'm wrong, but I think 93 is Skybox Premium's first year for basketball. I would consider picking another one up for $1,200, $1,300 if that was possible. Again, where do the cards fit in low, mid, high, or grail value? All of them are low value. Low value is under $5,000 in whatever grade they may be. I've got the chart pulled up. Obviously, all of these are under $1,500, so it's certainly comfortably in that low value, easy to attain Jordan insert value. What if you have $1,400, $1,500 to spend, and you don't know which Jordan insert to get, and you're looking at this Dynamic Dunks that we've got here on our screen, but you're also considering, maybe I want a different Jordan insert. Here's some other Jordan inserts that are almost the exact same value. You've got your 1993 Fleer Living Legends. So again, one of Jordan's earliest inserts. You got your 1995 Maximum Metal from the 1995 Metal product, not Metal Universe, but Metal, which is it's a die cut card right there. And then you've got your 1998 Topps East West Jordan with Kobe Bryant on the back. Again, this is not the refractor version. There's a refractor out there. This is just the base version. What would I choose out of these 4 cards on your screen? Well, here's my order. Number 1, I would go with Dynamic Dunks first. I just would. I'd go with the Dynamic Dynamic Dunks. As we talked about, it is a Pop 35. It's about $1,400, and only 2 of them have sold in the last 6 months. The second card that I would go with would be the Maximum Metal, because I do tend to prioritize the Metal and the Metal Universe cards. That's just my particular way of collecting. I like these types of products, the metal, the chromey, kind of industrial kind of motif. And this one is no different. You got the metal, you got a net behind them, but it looks like it's not a chain net because it looks like the net's torn, but that does kind of look like a chain. But the net looks kind of torn. It's got a hoop behind them, and then almost like a metallic basketball in the background. But that is die cut. I don't know if you guys can tell. And it's only a Pop 41, so it's very similar to the population of the Dynamic Dunks. That's a cool card. Only 1 of those has sold in the last month. How many of those have sold in the last year? 3 of them have sold in the last year, anywhere from $1,500 to $1,945. So that's the card that I would go with second. I'd go with the Living Legends card that you see on your screen right here third. It is a little bit higher Pop 75, but it's a much lower Pop than this East West, which is a Pop 326. And so you're probably wondering, Pop 326 is really high. Why is it $1,500, $1,600? Well, the reason is simple. It's Jordan on the front and Kobe on the back, and there's only so many cards that have Jordan and Kobe on the front and back out there. And the 2 refractors that come to mind is there's a Finest refractor with Jordan on the front, Kobe on the back, and then there's this East West with Jordan on the front and Kobe on the back. And by the way, with this card, I got in an argument on Instagram the other day, and I don't really know why. It's common sense. I told somebody that one card, one East West refractor, sold for below the price of all the other ones, and my reasoning was it was slabbed backwards because it had Kobe on the front. And I'm not telling people, how to get their card slabbed, but I was like, that's incorrect. That's not how it should be done. And the reason I say that is not because I like Jordan more than Kobe, which I do, but because the East player is the front of the card and the West is the back of the card. If you look at the card itself, you'll be able to tell that. And so this guy got snippy with me and said, Kobe, I can slab it however I want. I'm like, that's fine. You just slabbed it backwards. It is what it is, and that is something that would affect the sale value, because if somebody, if the general market was looking at it, they want the card slabbed correctly, which is Jordan on the front and Kobe on the back. They knew if they bought that card, they were going to have to crack it, resubmit it to PSA and say, slab this correctly. Or just send it to PSA and say, hey, reverse the slab or whatever. I guess you don't have to crack it yourself. But anyway, that's my order. On the Cajun Cardboard scale of Jordan card relevance, where do I put this Dynamics Dunk card that we're talking about today? I'm going to give this card a 5 out of 10. I give this card a 5 out of 10. That's where I think this card belongs based on rarity, being one of Jordan's earliest inserts. It's not die cut. It's not visually eye-popping. It's just real clean and artistic. And again, somebody comment below. Am I wrong? Is this Jordan's first horizontal insert? I don't know if that's a thing or should be a thing, but I'd just like to know, just for posterity's sake. But I give this card a 5 out of 10. It's super affordable. It's in that low price category. You could probably go pick up a PSA 10 copy or BGS 9 copy for less than 4 figures. PSA 10, it's just a touch over, of course. But that's it, guys. That's it for episode number 51, the 1993 Skybox Premium Dynamic Dunks card. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos. You'll catch these every single Friday afternoon on the Luka Nation Network. They're not getting a lot of views. I get the vibe that not a lot of people on the Luka Nation Network want to watch or listen to stuff about Jordan cards, and that's fine. So maybe we'll do something else on Friday afternoons on the Luka Nation Network, and we'll move the Jordan stuff back to the Cajun Cardboard channel. Let us know in the comments what you want to see on these Friday afternoons from me, if anything. You may not want to see me at all. If that's the case, then just be polite about it, but you can certainly comment that as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and many more to come. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and peace.